Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Justin here, also known as Snowden in the music community. Thanks for hanging out. Welcome to Learning to Livestream Part 2. I'll go ahead and do a recap of Part 1. We'll kind of walk through some stuff that we covered in the first time around, and then go into some other stuff, maybe with some lighting, touch on this green screen behind me, see what we can do there. I've intentionally left some things either not correct or not plugged in so that we can work on them while we're live. So that'll be fun. So one of the things that I actually want to fix, because it's bothering me right now, if you may or may not have noticed that my audio is not in sync with the video that's going on. Or maybe it's more obvious if I clap. So I figured we would walk through how to fix that. I'll plug in, I have another session of OBS running on another computer over here, and that's what I'll be using for screen share. But for the actual stream right here, I have this separate mic plugged in, so I'll actually have to make adjustments twice. I do have chat open. What's up, Ybot? So go ahead and at any time feel free to ask questions. This is a very chill IRL hangout stream, so there's no stupid questions. Ask me whatever. I'll periodically check on chat there. Or maybe there's something that you have a question about that I didn't bring up. Feel free to bring it up. So let's start with the audio. I'm going to switch over to a view here with OBS up. So here we have OBS in studio mode. My cat Maggie is the content example right now at the moment. So let's, for this example, for this audio, I'm going to use a webcam that's plugged in on the laptop over there. So with that, as you remember, let's take it out of studio mode so it's a bit easier. You'll move myself somewhere else. You'll go up here in the upper corner. Is that better? Cool. All right. So I have handy this trackpad. This is just a magic trackpad. You could use a wireless mouse. If you're doing demo type setups like this, I highly recommend it so you don't have to jump back and forth from one computer to the other. So that's how I'm able to magically operate these things, if you just see me sitting here and wondering how I'm controlling two computers at the same time. All right, so we have our scene. We want to add an audio source. So we're going to go up to audio input capture. Now this webcam that I'm using, it's a Logitech C920. You see them all over the place. They are a little bit hard to get right now because of the global situation that we're in. So don't pay someone $300 for this webcam. It's like a $40 or $50 webcam. Especially they've had a few different iterations of this model. So try your best on third-party websites. Occasionally Amazon gets them restocked. So just don't pay $300 for one, because you can definitely get them for much cheaper. So we can rename this. Sometimes I like to type on my keyboard. That is the one thing that I do have to jump over to that other laptop for, is if I'm actually going to rename something. So I'll do that. Let's call this webcam mic. And then we have the drop down. And then you can see it right here. C920 Pro webcam. So going to select that, and being that we chose audio, this is just going to be the audio for that mic. So you can see me on the microphone. Audio meter is deflecting here, so that webcam mic is picking me up. Let's go ahead and add the video component. So if you're not familiar with OBS and this is your first time just seeing it, you have your scenes over here, which are comprised of multiple layers stacked together. So we could compile all of our sources here and then call that scene maybe our wide shot, or maybe in that scene we just have audio and then some kind of content, or like a background image or a browser as a source. So we could call that like audio over content. And so it's an easy way to be able to have a variety of different sources mixed together and easily switch back and forth between them. For example, say I might have one shot that is just the camera and audio, and then I want to switch to a shot that has maybe myself and my game that's being captured right next to me in like a picture-in-picture setup. So it allows you to just, with one click, switch between the different sources however you want to have them arranged. Sparkle of Gold. Yes, the this is the Apple Magic trackpad. I believe that's what it's called. It's right here. It's powered by Lightning. Lasts for several weeks on one charge, so it's pretty awesome. All right, so we were going to add that video source. And I have this, this is actually coming into OBS via a capture card. In my OBS session that's running the stream right now. And so that's how we're able to capture the essentially extended desktop of the other laptop over there. So we're going to add video source, video capture device, I mean. And then we can just call this webcam video. And then we want to choose that source or device, which is going to pop up right here. What's this? That C922 webcam. And then it defaults on this preset 1280 by 720. However, we're using a 1920 by 1080 canvas space here, so we want to go and drop down and select this high profile. And then you can see behind it, it will take up the entire space. So we'll click OK there. All right. And then you can see my sound, video from this other webcam. All right, so the first thing that we want to do, which depending on your setup and the type of equipment that you're using, you may or may not need to adjust the synchronization of your audio and video between your microphone and your webcam. For this, I'm using this, it's a Blue Yeti microphone, and so you can see that the audio is a little bit ahead of the video. So we're going to add audio delay to that and bring it back in time so that it's synchronized with the video. So I'm going to first show you on this webcam microphone just so you can see how to do it in OBS, but it's not actually going to change the sync to the microphone that I'm using because it's a different microphone. Cool. Are you guys with me? Am I going too fast? Let me know if you see something in the user interface and you want me to explain it or talk about that in more detail. Okay, so to adjust the audio here, we're going to select the source, which is the webcam mic. And we want to right click and go to properties. Oh, sorry, we want to go to advanced properties. It's in this gear wheel down here. Well, at least it normally is. There we go. Okay, it's the gear wheel in the mixer. Advanced audio properties. It's going to bring up this panel, and with this panel, you can do a few different things. You can adjust the left-right balance. The microphone I'm using is actually a stereo mic, so it has a left and right. And then you can also do things like adjust the monitoring situation. So right now, the monitoring is turned off. So when the audio is leaving OBS and going to the stream, it's not also going out of my headphone out on my laptop. The reason why that is so I don't know if you've ever used headphone much, where you're or maybe you've been on some kind of like interview where you've had to listen to a variety of different hosts, or just maybe another person if you're recording a band and you're in your monitor mix. And sometimes it can be annoying if you're also hearing your own voice in your headphones while you're talking or singing. And so if you want to be able to hear all the other sources but not yourself, you would turn monitoring off for your microphone. For instruments or other things that I have plugged in OBS, I would want to hear what that sounds like. So I would turn that monitoring on, so you can see monitor and output. And then I'd be able to hear what's coming out of OBS. There is also an option to do monitoring only, which I guess is nice if you want to just preview a sound source but not have it actually go out to the stream. And then sync offset, this is where you're going to adjust the delay compensation for the audio. Typically, I like to start around 100 milliseconds and kind of go from there. The benefit of this parameter is that, unlike other options in OBS, say it's maybe the video output settings or some of the stream bitrate settings, once you start streaming, you have to actually stop the stream and then adjust those settings. But with the sync offset setting, you can actually just continue streaming and make adjustments, so that way you don't have to keep starting and stopping your stream. And that allows you to really dial it in. So to be able to hear if this is in sync or not, I actually have a secondary device here, so I'll listen to the stream on here. Also need your guys' help. You can tell me if it's getting more in sync or further out of sync. Oh, sorry, I missed you there. Chermy, what was cheating? Me dual wielding OBS? Alright, so 100 milliseconds. Okay, so I added 100 milliseconds there. So I'm going to have to mirror this on my other OBS setup, so the changes I'm making you can kind of see in real time. So remember, that was the gear wheel in the audio mixer under advanced audio properties. And you're going to add milliseconds to the sync offset. All right, so I just added 100 milliseconds to my actual stream here. So let's see if this is any more in sync. I'm going to clap as well. I'm also going to listen on here, and then so I don't create any audio feedback loops, I'm going to temporarily mute myself. So let me know in chat if I am more in sync now. All right, I just listened to it. A bit more. Okay, it seemed pretty close to me, so it sounds like I'm definitely getting closer. So maybe I'll go back and add about 50 milliseconds. Let's see what that is like. So I'm doing this one at a time so you can see what I'm doing here. So this is the demo setup, so it's not actually going to affect the audio that I'm using right now. So we're at 100. I'm going to go and add 150 there. Then I'm going to actually do it on my microphone. And that's done. All right, let's see what that sounds like. Check 1, 2. Seeing how closely this is in sync with what I'm saying. I'm going to mute for a second. All right, that seems pretty close to me. What do you guys think? So Sparkle of Gold says it's pretty good, but I don't know what's best. So you're not sure if it was better before or what it is like now? At 50 milliseconds, it's kind of difficult to discern that unless you do this a lot. It's all right, Sparkle of Gold. We're all just getting started here, so that's totally fine. Oop. All right, so that's how you add delay compensation in your audio. I don't want to spend too much on that topic because I know we're covering a few different things here. So with that, did anyone have any just general OBS questions? I briefly touched on the scenes and sources, so let's go back and just do a quick run through on, we added our camera, we added our audio. Now that audio could be your stream source for your microphone, or it could be your audio interface. It could be a variety of different options depending on what kind of content you're trying to stream. Also, I have some information right here. If you want to follow us on Instagram, that's Modular Seattle. You can go to modularseattle.com and check out what we have going on there. We have a contact form if you want to reach out to us. And if you want to support us, we also have a Patreon account too at patreon.com/modularseattle. All right, so let's go back to the OBS window here, and let's just do a quick configuration if we were going to stream this out. So right here you have your general settings. If you just downloaded OBS and you're just starting, I wouldn't really mess with any of these settings too much. I would go straight to your stream source here. This is where you're going to select where you're streaming to. If you're using kind of a turnkey platform where you're sending your stream from OBS to YouTube or Twitch, you just need to select in the drop down one of those sources. If you're sending this to a custom destination, or maybe you're sending it to another provider that's going to simulcast your stream to multiple platforms at once, that's where you would choose custom, and then you would choose custom, and then that's where you type in your ingest server and your stream key. For the purposes, since we're on Twitch, let's select Twitch. This is where you type in, it'll auto detect your location and choose the best ingest server that's closest to you. As a general rule, you want to choose the ingest server that's closest to where you're physically located. So I'm here in Seattle, so I would check Seattle or just leave it on recommended. And then in your Twitch channel, you want to go ahead and grab your stream key and copy and paste that right here. You don't want to share this with anyone, because this will allow anyone with your stream key to stream to your channel. So for obvious reasons, I'm not going to show you the stream key that I'm using right now, so you don't take over this stream or just randomly stream to the Modular Seattle website. Now, of course, it accidentally happens. You might accidentally copy and paste it into, I don't know, a text message or an email or something. You can go ahead and reset that key, and it will cycle it so your old one won't work anymore. So if it does get compromised, you can use a new key. So you put in your stream key, and then you want to go to your output window here. The setting you want to pay attention to is your bit rate. Depending on your bandwidth available, I'm sending out a 720p stream right now, which typically you choose a bit rate between 1500 and 2500 kilobits per second. If you don't have the bandwidth, say you go to speedtest.net, you do a speed test, and you only have maybe 2 megs up of upload speed, you want to stay under that threshold so you're able to constantly send your stream out and not have any drop packets or anything like that, or drop frames. So you want to keep that under. It's a good rule is typically to have twice the amount of overall bandwidth available than what you're actually encoding. So if we had 3 megs up, we'd want to keep our stream at around 1500 for your bit rate. Next, you're going to want to go to audio settings. You might just need to adjust your sample rate. The sample rate for video industry standard is 48 kilohertz. For audio, you might see 4:4:1, so you just want to make sure that throughout your system everything is synced to the same sample rate, so you don't have any additional issues there. Oops. Just checking chat there. And then the next setting you want to check is your video source. So here you can see in OBS you have your canvas resolution. That is this space in this red border, or inside of this preview window here. That's your canvas, the space that you're working inside of. And then you have your output resolution, which is what you're actually encoding out to your stream. Being that you want to be conscious about the experience of your viewers. For some people's internet connections, if they don't have the best connection, it can be hard for them to watch, say, a 1080p full HD stream at 60 frames a second. So especially if you're just getting started, maybe you don't have the adaptive bitrate enabled or available on your platform. It's nice to find a happy medium. So a lot of streamers go a 720p 30 frames a second stream. And so that's what we've done here. So once you have that configured, you just go down and click Start Streaming. This computer is not even connected to the internet, the other computer, so it wouldn't let me stream if I wanted to. But with OBS, you also have the ability to record. If you have a high performance enough machine, you could record and stream to your machine at the same time. But maybe you're in a place where you do just want to record a video or something and you don't want to stream, you could just record to your local machine there as well. And then studio mode, this allows you to have kind of more of a broadcast functionality, to where on the right here you have your what's called your program feed. This is what's going out to the stream, and then on the left here is your preview. And this is where you could dial up a different scene than what you have going out over here, and get that ready. And then once it's ready, you can transition. You could do a what's called a hard cut and switch right to that other scene, or you could do a fade. A variety of different transitions. Swipes are available. Just keep in mind though, down here, when you're actually streaming in studio mode on Mac, at least, it tends to take up quite a bit more CPU utilization, even if it's the same scene for whatever reason. I think it's just a bug in OBS. So if that's impacting your machine, you can always untoggle studio mode after you've made that change, and you should see your CPU. If I was streaming here, you'd see these frames per second, maybe slightly varying a little bit. That should stabilize your machine there as well. And then you don't see right now down here because we're not live, but we'll also show you the drop frames happening. So if you see just sporadic frames dropping left and right, that number just constantly increasing, that means your computer's either not able to handle pushing out encode the stream that you're sending, or your computer is having a hard time it's reaching that bandwidth capacity for your upload speed, and it's not able to send that stream out, and it's getting throttled on the network. So you'll just start dropping frames. So you want to keep an eye on that as well. Yeah, seeing you guys in chat here. It is nice to be able to record without streaming, and you do also have the ability, if you've enabled broadcast archives on Twitch or whatever platform, you can always go back and watch. But if you don't want that to be public on the internet, you could do a rehearsal and then go back and watch it later, and see maybe you want to position your microphone differently, or you notice that one of these sources was heavily distorting. So you can always go back and see what your streaming experience was like. Looking at your questions from part 1, when we did that live stream, we also went over a variety of different capture devices. I have some here. So this is an audio interface. This is a Focusrite Scarlett. And this is just a simple 2-channel audio interface. So if you have either like a master output from your mixer or your instrument that you're using, maybe your keyboard, you can plug that right into here and then capture it in OBS. Or maybe you have your microphone and one other audio source. Maybe it's mono out of your synth or something. You could just plug those straight in here, mix them, the input levels. There's also headphone monitoring on the device. Maybe you have someone else with you and they want to be able to monitor the audio as well as what you're monitoring in OBS. This is just a USB Type A input. I like to use for when I'm doing music streams, I like to record the audio into my field recorder. Let me switch cameras here. Audio into my field recorder there, that's better. Before it goes into, or actually it's simultaneously coming out of my audio mixer here into the field recorder and then also going to OBS. My audio board that I have here is a Soundcraft Signature 10, and it also has a USB audio interface capability built into it. So it's literally USB out of my mixer into my laptop, and then I'm coming out of the master left and right into this field recorder. So this allows me to make sure I'm capturing a high fidelity audio recording. Sometimes OBS could crash, or maybe you could lose your network and your stream goes down, and you don't want to lose your recording, or if there's any kind of like interruption in the audio or video packets that are being transmitted, you might have some glitches or some pops in your audio. So it's nice to have a local recording here, no matter what else happens. We also talked about some techniques with using, so you don't have any of this stuff, but you want to stream. There is streaming in your phone, actually. So with the Twitch app, or there's other apps as well that use your phone's camera and will send an ingest stream to whichever platform that you want to. The Twitch app is nice because it's built in right into the app. And so you can pair that with, I have this little tripod with these bendy legs. And this is pretty handy because you can like set this tripod anywhere you want, and it's got a little phone attachment, so you just literally clip your phone into here like that, and then adjust it on the stand, and then you can just set your tripod up here. You could even, like, say you're on the walking down the street and you want to do an IRL stream or something. There's way more efficient solutions than this, but you know, you could just have this like on your arm and just hang out, I guess, and stream yourself walking around. Or you could tie this to the arm of a chair, or I don't know, a table or something, or you know, maybe I want to clamp it to my little couch here. So that's handy. And then I'll show you in the Twitch app where you go live. It's kind of hard to see my screen here. So you want to go click on your channel icon, and then you can see it says, I know you can't really see that very well, sorry. It says go live. Is that better? These two buttons right here, there's go live and view dashboard. View dashboard is where you configure all your settings in Twitch, changing your stream title, changing what your notification says. If you want to tag your stream as like creative or just chatting or music performance, you would do that there. You can choose the category of your stream. So you want to set that up, and then you would click go live. And then it actually shows you a mini dashboard right here, as well as you can double check those settings. And then you can see right there, you can just use the camera that's built in. You can also use your front-facing camera if you have one of those. And then start your stream. If you are streaming from your phone, I definitely recommend you try to connect to a Wi-Fi network instead of just relying on cellular. And then I'll show you, next let's go into the green screen setup. So then I was going to talk about lighting, and that's definitely very dependent on the lighting that you have set up. So these lighting, I'm just using these LED lights that I got on Amazon. I think they were like $60 or $80 each. You can get a lot of lights like these in a very I guess wide amount of quality and price points. So I've seen some of like these that are like $50. It could go up to like $100, $150. There's a lot of options. I just have these two lights here. You can see with my shirt that I'm actually they're too bright because it's blowing out the white in my shirt to where you can't tell the detail. So I'm gonna go turn them down real quick. Oh, sorry, Sparkle of Gold, just saw your question. Mixer, Zoom, audio interface, computer. Yes, that's right. So it's not passing through the Zoom. It's going to each destination at the same time, I guess. I know you can't really illustrate that in chat via a diagram, but yes, that's right. It's going from the mixer to the field recorder, and then also from the mixer to the audio interface, and then that is plugged via USB into my computer. So I'm going to dial the lights down a little bit. You can also, say you don't want to buy one of those lights, you could buy one of these things, which are crazy bright. These are like, I think, $40 maybe. There's a few different brightness levels. So you can dial that in. I'm getting brighter. There's just one button on the top. It charges via USB. It's got a reusable battery in it, which is also nice because it's portable. It's also got a 1/4-inch thread on there, so you could attach that to the little tripod and stand that up somewhere else as well. Alright, I'm going to turn these lights down. So these were on about 80%, and I'm turning them down to 65%. All right, so that is a bit better. It's going to be hard to balance this because you want to try to optimize for, we're optimizing for myself and the green screen with the same lighting setup. If I was in a bigger space, I might want to try to actually have separate lights for the green screen so it maintains an even amount of lighting, because you see I'm like casting shadows behind me. And then just wearing a white shirt on top of that, it's just hard for this webcam to optimize for both myself and the wall behind me. But you'll at least get an idea of what we're trying to do, and then you can optimize it for the setup that you have at home. If you're just tuning in, hi, I'm Justin, aka Snowden. And this is part 2 of Learning to Livestream, and we just walked through OBS, so if you missed that, go ahead and watch the recording after this if you need a refresher. And we went through audio delay compensation to sync your audio with your video, and now we're touching on some green screen and lighting stuff. Hey, Lemon Jaya, what's up? Manjaya is going to be streaming tomorrow, actually. He's going to be doing some modular on the channel, so that'll be fun. So make sure to tune in tomorrow at 6 o'clock for that. All right, so I'm going to go to my other computer here. And this computer, we're going to add a filter to the webcam, which if you're doing your what's called chroma keying, that's where you're taking the green screen and compositing that out of the source and then replacing it with whatever you want that green screen to actually be. So if you're doing the chroma keying in OBS, it's in a filter setting in your camera's properties. So if we go back to our webcam, and you can click the gear wheel here, or you can just right click on it and go to properties and filters. It's in the filter category. Now there's a lot of actually really useful filters in here. One of the common ones that I use outside of chroma keying is the crop tool. So that allows you to, you can see my camera is in this 16:9 aspect ratio, this like horizontal rectangle box shape. But say how we were setting this up, and we'll see this when we actually key out the background. Say I only wanted to use like this square portion of this camera that I'm actually sitting in. This crop tool would allow you to crop that source in so that it's only taking up the square space that you're actually sitting in. Because when you're green screening yourself in, once we remove this background, we can essentially make me be in front of anything. So we don't really need this extra part of the screen that we're not using. So we'll go to the video, and first we're going to enable the green screen, and I'll do it here, but then I'll switch back to the actual camera I'm using for the broadcast that you can see in the upper right hand corner, because that's what we're actually going to be keying out and optimizing for the green screen. So we right click on that source and go to filters, and then go to the plus sign, and then chroma key. If you're going to have a lot of filters going on, I'd recommend naming these like chroma keying for webcam, or so that way you don't lose track of all the different filters. We're only using one today, so I'm not going to rename it. So then it's going to default to green because most green screens are this shade of green, so it's kind of set up for that already. You could choose if you have a different color. Sometimes they're blue, other colors. You can also go into a custom color. Say I didn't have a green screen behind me, but I had I don't know, a red wall or a solid colored gray surface, which is actually what's behind this green screen. You can key out that specific color, and it's almost kind of like having a makeshift green screen. So there's flexibility there. So I don't actually want to key out on this camera. I want to use my camera, but I'll just show you the settings that I will adjust. So you have your similarity. This is kind of like your threshold setting for how much that color value of green it's going to key out for. So if you can see, if I lower this, it's looking for a very specific color value of that green. But if I open up that threshold, it's going to allow more values of that color green to be keyed out until the point to I could keep going, and it would actually just start keying out a wider color range. And so it would start taking out the grays and whites and more colors until it's like, you know, just a couple colors remaining, which it looks like it's keying out every color but red, which is kind of cool. I mean, what if I did a stream like that and it was just my ears and this, and then I keyed in my cat's face or something? I don't know, that'd be crazy. So we're just trying to key out the green screen. So we're gonna move this dial until it gets the screen, just right about there. And then you have your smoothness, which is kind of like if you know about audio workflows and compression, this is kind of like the knee encoder on your compression settings. So this is where you can really fine tune that color value of green that it keys out. So I would then further adjust with this until I have it just right where I want it to be, key that out. And then this is kind of keying out the color saturation in your camera source. So maybe there was like it's a bit too red here, keying out all the green color, like it's taking the green out of my face, like those light green color values. So I might want to tone it down just a little bit so I don't look you know, too red. So you're going to do adjustment there. All right, but I'm going to dial this down a little bit. So I don't really have the lighting set up for this side angle of that webcam, but I will leave it in here just to key that out just for an example. So I'll close that. All right, so I'll go back to my wide camera shot, and then I'll do this for here. Now when you key out this background, I'll switch back over there. And feel free to ask any questions as I'm going through this. So you can see I very roughly have keyed this out, and Maggie, my cat, is actually a layer as that capture card that was behind the video layer in the sources. So it was, if you look at the sources, it goes webcam, and then it goes Magewell, which is the capture card that I'm using. And so it's keyed out that green color value and letting the Magewell is showing through that layer. So we have a giant cat keyed in the background. That seems to be a recurring theme for me, and I didn't even try to do that. If you tuned into one of my streams earlier this week, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to go to my actual shot that I have set up here, and I am going to key out on my camera the green screen behind me. If you don't have a video layer underneath your camera, it's just going to appear black underneath. So I don't have a camera source or video source underneath, so that's what it'll look like. But we'll go ahead and add one in after this. right. So being that I don't have perfectly even lighting lighting up this screen, you can see those shadows. So where it sees like the darker green and the lighter green, it's gonna kind of optimize. I'm gonna optimize for what's, I guess, in between to kind of capture this entire background that's behind me. But if I had separate lighting, maybe some up lighting, or some key lighting up above me that wasn't the lighting for myself, that would more evenly light this space, and you wouldn't need to try to have such a wide threshold to capture the light and the dark in the screen behind me. So I adjusted the similarity setting there. Now I'm just adjusting a little bit of the smoothness. And because my couch here is kind of in the shadows, it's having a hard time differentiating between this dark part of the green screen here and this actual arm of my chair. So you can see these speckles that are showing up, and it's like thinking that it's maybe this value that I'm trying to key out. So it's like partially keying out my couch here. So I'm not teleporting or anything like that. That would be awesome. All right, so I keyed that out, and as you can see, it's just the black behind me because there's no video source underneath this webcam layer. All right, but we want to add something there. So this would be kind of trippy. I have the OBS that's being captured with my capture card. So I could put that behind me. So I'd have this giant version of OBS behind me. That's not really going to be that valuable unless maybe I was doing a tutorial. We can see what that looks like. So I'll go ahead and add that. That's under video capture device. I'm going to add existing since it's already in my OBS settings here. Click OK. And it defaults to put the source on top. I'm gonna, let's see, on this computer, maybe I will see if I can add another image source or something. I can add Maggie, okay. I just don't want to add myself as a video source, otherwise I might have some crazy feedback going on here. So you can resize an OBS by clicking the corner of your asset here, or you can right click and go to transform and select fit to screen, and it's just going to fit it to the canvas you have set up. If it's not quite this 16:9 aspect ratio of my canvas, you can select stretch to screen, and it's going to make that asset fill up the entire space. So now if we go back to this wide camera shot, we're going to bring that Magewell back behind me to where the green screen is, so down in the layer sources until it appears behind me. And then if like this entire, like say the entire wall behind me was a green screen, or at least enough of the space for this web camera shot, I could actually crop this, so I could crop out everything that's around me and then shrink down that source and then put myself in the corner. So like if you're maybe playing a game and you want to key yourself into the game in the corner like that, that's what that would look like. We can do that real quick. See what that looks like. So as I mentioned, the cropping earlier, let's see, I'll do it once really quickly in OBS just so you can watch me do it, and then I'll do it on my actual OBS session that's streaming out. These little eye icons, you can really quickly hide a source and enable a source. That's what I've been doing for my graphics that pop up here in the corner. I just toggle that on and it's right there. If I didn't want to have to worry about finding it in my list of sources and make sure I'm toggling on the right thing, sometimes you could actually, maybe you click on the wrong graphic and pop that in. You could duplicate your sources right here. You could have this all set up and duplicate this one and call it like camera shot with name graphic. And then all you have to do is click between these two sources instead of having to worry about toggling on and off all your individual sources right here from your scene. All right, so I was going to show you what it looks like to crop this source with a filter. So we're going to right click, go to filter. We have chroma key, which we did earlier, and now we're going to choose crop/pad. I'm not going to rename it because we just have one source. And then, unfortunately, you can click up and down these. Oh, sorry, I'm using the wrong mouse. Okay, you can click up and down these values, and then you can see as these values increase for each side of the source that you're cropping, it's going to bring that in. So I'm starting with the left-hand side. So you can see as I'm increasing this value, it's slowly bringing in that left side of the source. I like to just type in numbers and try to get close and then fine-tune it. So if I just put in like 100, that's more than 100. Well, put in 100, you can see you're making a lot faster jumps. So let's say 500. And then that'll, you do that to each side. I'm not accurately doing this, but go to the left and right. I like to get on the left and right side and then do the top and bottom. So maybe like 200 for that side. So we just keyed out the wall over here. So now it's just a green screen on the edge. And so I'll do this for my actual shot on OBS, but we would frame it up so it's just this green screen and myself on the couch. So now that you have seen that, let's just look at it in the actual OBS session that's streaming. Trimmy's asking, do layers stack, like stack mass in Photoshop? Yes, exactly like that. Just think of it as Photoshop layers. It's literally the same thing. And then think about it, your scenes as like groups of layers inside of Photoshop. So very, very similar. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to crop in this camera source so it's just the green screens on the edge. So I'm going to go into the webcam properties. I'm going to go to filters. And then I'm going to add that crop pad filter. And then since I'm not doing this in studio mode, you're going to, I think, see me make these edits in real time. Let's see. Let's find out. Yes. Okay, you are. So now you're seeing behind me, which is the mage well, emerge, which is that OBS setting. So actually, before I do that, let's key up something else instead of OBS, just so it's one source and doesn't look quite as confusing here. So I'm going to turn the webcam off, and let's see. I am going to minimize OBS on my other machine here, so you just see my background. Sorry. Hide. There we go. Cool. So this is my wallpaper, which will make a nice background for this green screen that we're going to do. So going back to the filters, and I'm going to bring that in maybe 200. Okay, let's try 300. Whoop. So we still have a sliver here of the wall, so we want to get that out of there. So maybe 350. It seems like a little much. Maybe 325. Oh, still a sliver right here. Let's do 340. Ah, I can still see a sliver there. Okay, 350 was right. Okay. All right, and then the right side. Let's see, that's 200. Let's try 300. 350. 400. 450. All right. We don't need all this room up top here, and you can see with the lighting, it's not really capturing those corners, and so it's not chroma keying out those darker corner values very well. So let's just crop that out. Let's go with like 300. You really only need the space that you're in. Of course, it's gonna look weird when I move this around and I put my arm out here. It's gonna like look like my hand's getting chopped off because we've cropped the source, or if I was to like stand up. But you know, to also make sure you don't have any artifacts or anything that's covering up the content that's behind you, it's best to just optimize it for this space that you're sitting in. Most of the time you're sitting or going to be in the general area. Awesome. Chermi, is that am I pronouncing that right? CHRMI? Chermi? Awesome that you're going to try that out this weekend. What content are you going to stream? Or are you just gonna test stuff out? So you can see here now, because I'm doing this in real time, not in studio mode, that I'm actually moving my source around in real time. For content, you know, if I had a game behind me or something, I'd want to shrink myself down. You can't see right now in OBS because I minimized it. But you would just grab that corner of that red box that it creates around your source and just minimize yourself down. And then you can see exactly what I was talking about. If I stick my hand up here, it's like cutting off my hand because I've cropped that source. So that's fun. Let's go back to the camera and pip. Ooh, this will be fun. Let's put myself... let's see, Magewell. Let's put the webcam on the other computer behind myself here in this room and see what that looks like. Maximize that again. We have Maggie as the top source here, so let's bring that back. And then we can see the webcam video, which I cropped a bit too much on the left side. So let's go to the crop here. So we have 500. Let's make that like 400. Oops. I didn't mean to click enter there. All right, let's do 300. Okay. Just hit enter. So now let's make this webcam the green screen background of my other shot. Let's see. Seeing how I can make this full screen. What you can do in OBS, say you have maybe another monitor in your studio and you want to have whatever's coming out of OBS show up on that monitor, so that say maybe yourself or other talent that you have with you can see what's happening going out to the stream in OBS, and they don't have to be like looking at the laptop, or maybe they're in another spot in the room and they can't see the computer to know what's going out on stream. So to do that in OBS, if you have an external monitor plugged in, you can right click and then go to full screen projector source and choose your other display. So you can see right here 1920 by 1080. That display is the capture card for my OBS machine that's streaming out to Twitch right now. It's saying it's a display, but it's really the capture card that's being brought into this computer so I can see it as a source. So if I select that, it's going to, instead of seeing this OBS screen, because that's just capturing whatever is on my extended desktop here, it's going to send the program output of OBS. So if I select this, it should switch to just what you see here in this red box inside of OBS, because it's sending the output. All right, there that is. Not sure why Maggie disappeared. My cat. I can bring up OBS on this machine, on this other screen, and see what happened there. Show all windows. I was hoping you can see my mouse on the other screen here. I'm trying to bring OBS over to my other monitor. What does it say? Show all windows. Options. Okay, I want to bring this window over. 1 second. I think it's going to let me try to bring this into my other screen here. Oh, but let's see if we can, yeah, I can just temporarily choose here. Okay, so Maggie is behind me in the program. Okay, got the webcam microphone. Oh, you know what? I think it's because it's double keying out the screen. So actually, if I turn that off on this, because I had that on earlier, so that's what's going on. So let's actually, we don't even have to delete it. We can just hide the chroma key setting. Click close. Of course, it's not going to key out Maggie, but I think that's what was going on there. So now, OBS, and key and go to output, full screen. All right, there we go. So now that I have this as a visual source, I could actually apply that filtering to this capture card and key out this green screen on this machine instead of that machine. It's kind of this weird OBS inception thing that I have going on because I have OBS inside of OBS. So we can affect this video source that's behind me in the source layers and key out this green screen. And then we'll see what's behind that, which right now is that like Cyberpunk Tokyo screen that's going on. Alright, so we just go to the Magewell, which is my capture card. Add that chroma key filter. I'm just going to kind of roughly do this just so you can get a general sense of what's going on. And as we discovered earlier, the lighting's not really optimized for that. There we go. Oh, okay, so now I need to add a source. Okay, because the Cyberpunk was actually the background of my other laptop. Sorry, the OBS Inception was getting to me. So now I actually need another video source here to put in behind me. So let's see. Let's add a browser source. That could be fun. So right now I have Safari open. If you guys were seeing me stream earlier on the Snowden channel, earlier this week, there was a website called This Cat Does Not Exist, and it's an AI project where thousands of photos of cats are being compiled together to form other images of cats. And I discovered there's multiple varieties of this project. So there are this horse does not exist. I think it's this human does not exist. It's pretty crazy. So I have that up in a browser, and every time you refresh the page, it loads a new photo that's been generated by this AI system. So let's put that behind me and see what happens. Instead of, we could key it into this screen behind me. I guess, might as well do that. We have a few options. We could have the browser be the entire source that's behind my smaller self right here in the screen. Or we could put it behind myself in the background behind this couch here. Oh, Sparkle of Gold. Sorry, I didn't see you had to run there. Thanks for, sorry you had to run. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, definitely come back for the archive. Glad that we could help out. All right, so I want to actually show you how to do this in the other OBS, so I'm going to switch back to OBS as a source and not full screen of the program of OBS. All right. So as I said, this computer that I have open right now is not connecting to the internet for whatever reason. But I'll just open up a browser so you will see it show up as a source here when I demo this. So bring this up. You want to go to sources, add a new source, and we want to add browser. I'm going to put myself in here so you can see the actual version where we sync the audio and video with the camera. Okay, so we're going to add the browser source, and also feel free to ask any questions. I am switching over, trying to do a better job of switching over and see chat as I'm demoing this. All right, so we add browser, and then if maybe we had multiple browsers or multiple browser sources, we would rename this something. I'm just going to call this Chrome, which is what I'm using. And then here we'd put in the URL of that website that we want to have behind us. It's not actually going to load the websites because, like I said, that this computer is not connected to the internet. But you'll see for demo purposes, I'll do it on my actual machine here. So we'll see a web source behind me. So let's put in maybe the site that I'm actually going to demo here in a minute. So 2 keyboards. This horse does not exist.com. So we put that in there, and then under width and height, I usually put in the resolution of my monitor that my browser's in. So I would change this to like 1920 by 1080. And then if there's any kind of audio coming from this browser source, you can toggle this on to control the audio inside of OBS. So if you added this and there was audio, you'd actually see in your audio mixer over here a new source pop up set browser. So you could independently control that audio from inside your browser. So I would click OK. And then it would pop up right here on the screen. Because this computer is not connected to the internet, it's not loading this website right now. So I'll now go ahead and do it quickly on my OBS machine right here. So I'm going to add that browser source again. I'm just going to, since I'm on the same computer, I'm just going to copy and paste the browser URL. Oh, it also could have been that I didn't have the HTTPS in front of it. I don't think I include that. So add that in. All right, click OK. Boom, there's a browser. The actual images loading on this website are actually very small. So I'm not sure why this one in particular they're this size. On the other websites, like the Cat's website, they're much larger. Maybe I'll just do that one instead for now. This.com. I'm going to make sure I have the URL correct. All right, that one's, let's just do this human. Does not exist. I know those ones are, oh, this person does not exist. Okay. There we go. Nice full screen image. All right, I'm going to add that instead. Right click properties on that browser. I'm just going to modify that URL. Click OK. And look at that. This, when you add a source, it adds it to the top. So I'm bringing it down in those sources till it gets behind me. And so there we have it. What's it looking like here? Okay, I could also add that, I guess, as a source in my OBS machine and get it behind me, double behind me in this extra camera shot. Since I already added it, I can just select browser. And then if I bring this all the way down, there it is. Since it's inside of this little green screen window in my room here, I would just make it fit into this space. It's partially keying out this part of the wall over here. Sorry about that. What is that? Is there something else in there? Nope. Wait, what? It must just be from the webcam source from that angle. It's also still has the OBS session in there. Oh, now I'm over here. Okay. Cool. So that's your basic green screen setup. This behind me could be visuals. Say you have visuals output running into your capture card. Could be that. It could be a browser source. Could be a game console. Could be your other screen from your laptop, like I have over here. All kinds of stuff. and then or it could be the stream itself. I did a stream earlier this week where I actually had my stream open on this other computer, which when you're streaming to a lot of these content platforms, if you don't have ultra low latency enabled, not every platform has this functionality, but ultra low latency brings down that stream delay for a viewer down to 3 to 7 seconds. It's very short. Whereas if you don't have that enabled, you're going to see a stream delay of like 30 to 45 seconds on the viewer end as you're encoding this out from your laptop or encoding device. So I had that stream up from OBS on another laptop, and I was piping that in this source behind me as the green screen replacement. So you would see essentially myself like 20 seconds or so, whatever the delay was to my laptop here, in the past, go up behind me, and then that camera, my webcam right here, was pointed at that source, and so when you do that, it creates this video feedback loop because your camera is essentially looking at its own camera input and creating this video feedback, and so it started duplicating myself behind me. But because there's a stream delay, it's not like infinite, or like instantly creating like infinite versions of myself going back into the wall. It would actually stack on top of each other to where the next delayed version of myself would be another 10 seconds delayed or 20 seconds, whatever it was, and so on and so forth. So it would kept adding. So if I like did a movement, it would happen like 20 seconds later, and then like 30 seconds later, and 40 seconds later, and I would shift the source in OBS so it would actually like slightly start to shift off axis behind me. It's in a I think I made a clip of it on my channel if you want to check that out as an example. Snowden on Twitch if you want to look at an example there. So fun stuff like that where you can just get creative. Let's see what else we covered. We covered graphics last week. Do you guys want me to touch on any graphic stuff? We talked a little bit about networking, webcams, capture card, audio interface, some mobile setups with a mobile app. If you missed that, I was showing the Twitch interface. Let's see. We could run through. I could do capture. We could run through some basic settings in your Twitch channel if you want to look at how to navigate the Twitch dashboard and settings for your account. We could look at some stuff like that. We haven't touched on that. Looking back at your chat, the chat here, Chermy, I've got a modular mess, been doing small Instagram live streams. Yeah, it works with your, I don't know if you're using just your phone to do the live stream, but I mean, whatever you have available, I would use that to get out there. A lot of these platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they actually prioritize live content on top of other video content, so it's a great way to get more exposure on those platforms as far as being able to other people discovering video content. You're asking, is this scriptable? There are some scripts for OBS that do automate certain things. It's not all scripted. I think there's scripts where you can add like keyboard shortcuts that might do maybe like a macro, like a specific group of tasks. But I would check out the OBS website. That's where you're going to find a lot of resources for OBS, like various plugins. OBS stands for Open Broadcast Software. So it's an open source platform. And so there's a lot of modifications that the community has added to it as well. one of the ones I was looking into was Skype now supports NDI, which is a way to share video over your network. And there's an NDI plugin for OBS, so you could actually bring in your audio and video from your different Skype guests or your Skype callers as individual sources inside of OBS, which gives you a lot of control over having different people show up on screen or just one person's audio while they're talking in Skype, instead of having to do some kind of just overall capture of Skype and capturing all the audio and video as one source. But I couldn't get it to work on Mac. I tried on both my computers here and the recommendations on GitHub, and even for people on GitHub, it doesn't fix the problem for everyone. So I'm still digging into that and seeing if I can do something else. It might work better on PC, but I just know in general that plugin has been a little dodgy. Cool, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. So instead of browser, I'm gonna go to window capture in your sources. So you just go to window capture. If you have a bunch of windows open, I'm just gonna say Safari, because that's what I have, and then select that. Boom. I'm gonna transform this and tell it to fit to screen, and then put it behind my webcam so I pop up here. So that's handy. You can even see yourself comments right here behind me. Let's see. So I guess, yeah, I will go to that window. I can't see what I'm doing in OBS right now, so I'm just going to go through. This is your dashboard in Twitch. This is something I always have open in a tab. It kind of gives you a high-level view of what's happening during your stream. Tells you how long you've been streaming for, the quality of your stream, how many viewers you have tuned in. So we have 7 people watching right now. You can also add quick actions. You can edit your stream info. This could be... Can you see my mouse as I'm moving this around? Oh, okay, I don't think you can see my mouse being captured. Darn. So down in the bottom part of the screen where it says Modular Seattle Learning to Livestream Part 2, all of these different tags with electronic music, music production, the category of your stream, rhythm and music. You can change those settings, and you can also add in actions. Say you want to add a functionality to be able to add a stream marker. Stream markers are a way while you're streaming, if there was some cool moment or something that you want to remember to capture later, you can just click add stream marker, and then when your stream's over and when you want to make a highlight reel or make a clip that you want to post on social media or some other online destination, it makes a marker in your past stream, so you can really quickly go to that point in time and make a highlight from that moment. You also have chat built in right here, as well as your activity feed, which shows recent follows, recent raids. If your affiliate or partner, would show people that recently subbed. So it gives you a nice way to be able to call out and see what kind of activities are going on with your viewers and interactions. So back to that, you can go back to your channel. I don't want to play that because I'm going to create live stream inception. Actually, maybe why don't we just do it real quick just to see. So this is what happens when you add your stream as a source. This is the video feedback kind of that I was talking about. So if I like wave, you'll see the one behind me wave shortly, and then the one behind that, and the one behind that. Yeah, that's pretty trippy. So that's fun. So when you go to your main window here, you have the menu on the upper right hand side. This quickly brings you to your settings in Twitch, video producer if you want to highlight those videos or make clips that I was talking about, back to that creator dashboard, which is where we were just at, and then other things if you deal with subscriptions and like payment information, things like that. You can also toggle dark mode on and off. Oh, always dark mode. And then you actually have another menu here on the. Oh, sorry, let's go back to the dashboard. This menu is only up when you're in the dashboard view. So on the upper left-hand side, okay, it's returned back to normal for you. All right. I'm just going to stretch this source really quickly in my browser to fit this screen. There we go. So on the upper left-hand side, this is another quick menu to where if you click Stream Manager, that'll bring you back to your dashboard. Insights, this is where you can look at your channel analytics. Stream summary is just your stream before last. You can look at that, or channel analytics will look at a specified time period, like maybe over a month or over a week, and it'll add up all the data from your streams that you did during that time period and show you the increases or decreases in your viewership, chat messages, average viewers, things like that. You can also look at your achievements, how you're tracking, if you're trying to become an affiliate on Twitch or a partner, or just other ways, other like achievements that just give you a better idea of maybe how you can engage with your viewers or help grow your community. Community, this is a quick way to access your roles management. So in Twitch, you might see in Twitch chat, you have various badges next to your username. This could be, if it's the green badge with the sword, that's a moderator. And if a moderator on your channel can help you control your streaming experience a little bit better. Obviously, while you're broadcasting, you're limited into what you can do and necessarily take action in chat. Say you have someone that's just trolling your stream and they're getting out of hand and you want to ban them, or maybe just temporarily time them out if they're saying something inappropriate, and you're like, hey, like, you know, please be respectful of myself and the viewers in the stream. You can temporarily time them out from chatting, or you can just straight away ban them if you're like, this is completely inappropriate what they just did and you want to kick them out. You can control who can do that for your channel in the role management. There's also other roles like say maybe you have some VIP badges, or maybe you want to have someone else, it's a channel that you share and you want to have editors of your channel. You can create editors and they can go in and edit video content, go ahead and create clips, highlights. They can change the stream information in your dashboard, so that way it's can be more of a team effort to control the streaming experience, and it doesn't all have to be done by one broadcaster. Content, as I was saying, this is where you go ahead and video producer, this is where you create your clips and your highlights. Collections is going to be similar to, I guess, your boards, I think, on Instagram, where you can like save photos to like a specific collection of a certain topic or category. You can do the same thing with your video clips and highlights in Twitch as well. Say you want to compile all of your gaming content into one collection, or all of your specific modular recordings in one collection. You can do that there. And then you can see clips here. You can go to your channel settings. This is where you can add things like changing your offline image, changing your avatar, your profile icon on Twitch, various channel specific settings there. Cool. All right, let's refresh. Actually, is it going to refresh it? Oh, I don't think it's going to refresh it. I think just because it has, I guess I'd have to refresh the source inside of that browser source. Oh, refresh browser when your scene becomes active. I could do that. Okay. So that would refresh it every time I switch back and forth here. Oh, it might not do it because it's also in this scene. There we go. Let's look at some more AI created humans. The other option is there's an extension in Chrome that auto refreshes, and you can set the time period. And so that's what I've also done in the past. Is on my other computer, it's capturing that screen, and it's capturing the browser on my other computer, and it's just showing that computer with the auto refresh extension on. Fun stuff. So creepy how real these humans look. And children too. Crazy. All right. Well, I think that about does it for tonight, part 2. Let me see if you guys have any other last questions. Yeah. No questions? Yeah, I know, just lots of creepy AI created humans. Fun stuff. What other kind of images do I have here? Let's see. Oh, I could add, even though, let's see. I have a technical difficulties slate here. That's fun. So this is nice to have. Say something's going wrong with your stream, but you don't want to go offline, and it's a local issue that you feel like you can fix right away. It's nice to have a slate for technical difficulties where you can put that up. I typically would have, I wouldn't have any audio or camera sources in this scene if I was compiling like a technical difficulty scene. Just for demo purposes, I have myself here. So that way you can have something up, put some music behind it, so that people don't think that it's technical difficulties and their stream stopped or something. So have some kind of music source in the background, and then you can go and fix that issue. And then once you have it resolved, you can go ahead and jump back into your screen. I haven't, luckily, had to use this slate yet, so I thought I would use it now intentionally. Knock on wood. So, cool.